I request President Rotarian Ritika to confirm the minutes of the previous meeting.
The minutes of the previous meeting were circulated on our group and no questions or queries have been raised for the same. Thereby, the minutes of the previous meeting stand confirmed.
Hello and good evening, everybody. And today we have a very important topic, that is swab kidney transplant. And we have a very eminent doctor from Nanavati Max Hospital of Mumbai, Dr. Jatin Kothari. I request our Charter and Founder President, Rotarian Lal Goyal ji, to please give the introduction of our guest, Dr. Jatin Kothari. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian Ruby Agrawal. Inspire President Rotarian PHF Ritika Gupta, Inspire Secretary Rotarian Ruby Agrawal, members, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce a true visionary in Indian healthcare, Dr. Jatin Kothari. Dr. Kothari stands as one of the India's most distinguished nephrologists and renal transplant specialists. With over 3 decades of dedicated service, he has transformed not just individual lives, but entire healthcare systems across our nation. As Director of Nephrology and Chief Consultant for Renal Transplant Medicine at Nanavati Max Super Speciality Hospital, Mumbai, Dr. Kothari has personally performed over 1,500 kidney transplants, each one representing hope restored and families reunited. But his impact extends far beyond the operating room. In 2007, Dr. Kothari co-founded Apex Kidney Care, which has grown to become India's largest nephrologist-led dialysis network. Today, this revolutionary enterprise operates over 220 centers across 12 states, providing more than 90,000 dialysis sessions each month to patients nationwide. Understanding that lasting change requires education, he co-established the Apex School of Dialysis Technology, which has trained over 2,000 healthcare professionals, creating opportunities and saving lives across India. His innovative spirit led to the creation of India's first kidney swab transplant registry, ESTRA, enabling hundreds of complex transplants through cutting-edge technology and ethical practice. Dr. Kothari's excellence has earned global recognition. In 2023, he became the youngest Indian ever to receive the prestigious American Nephrologists of Indian Origin Community Service Award. He holds fellowship with the American Society of Nephrology and the Royal College of Physicians, Edinburgh, and serves as visiting faculty at world-renowned institutions including Johns Hopkins University and Massachusetts Hospital. With over 50 research publications and a teaching legacy honored at the World Congress of Nephrology, Dr. Kothari embodies the perfect blend of clinical excellence, innovative thinking, and compassionate care. His guiding principle remains beautifully simple yet profound. I quote, "Do what is best for the patient. Nothing else matters," unquote. Please join me in welcoming a true pioneer in kidney care, a mentor to hundreds, and a beacon of hope for thousands of patients. Dr. Jatin Kothari, please.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. It is indeed an honor for me to be a part of the Rotary movement. I thank Rotarian Goel for inviting me today for this session. And as we always say, Rotary is something which is a global organization and it touches millions and millions of lives. And I have been fortunate enough to work with a few Rotarian trusts and foundations in my past 15 years. I've had a very good experience of working together with Rotarians across the world, and I'm looking forward to this session to share some of my thoughts as to how transplantation in India can be bettered in a positive way and hopefully create more awareness about organ donation, which is really something which India is struggling to do today. So back to you, sir. If you can play the song, and then I can give my small words of encouragement to all the people who are attending this session to try and promote organ donation. Thank you.
No, it has not come. You can't see it. No.
You want me to look into it?
Yeah, please.
Okay, just 1 second. Just 1 minute, please.
The song.
I'm just sharing my screen. Give me a moment. I hope you can see my screen. I'll just turn on
Yeah.
audio. Sorry, just 1 second.
ये जो जिंदगी है ना किस्मत से मिली है ना, ये अंग अंग एक तोहफा है जिसने जीवन दिया। ये जो जिंदगी है ना किस्मत से मिली है ना, ये अंग अंग एक तोहफा है जिसने जीवन दिया। हम आपकी किडनियां बह दे लहू को चुटकियों में साफ हमने किया। हमें एक ही काफी है ना, कुदरत ने हमको एक बदन में दो दो क्यों है दिया। मिल बांट कर जीने के ये हम पर बड़े संस्कार है, तुझे की हम करते मदद दिल में भरा वो प्यार है। ये जिंदगी चल बांट ले ईश्वर का ही ये काम है, ज्यादा है जो वो दान कर देना ही जिंदगी का सार है। ये जो जिंदगी है ना किस्मत से मिली है ना, ये अंग अंग एक तोहफा है जिसने जीवन दिया। ये जो जिंदगी है ना किस्मत से मिली है ना, ये अंग अंग एक तोहफा है जिसने जीवन दिया। हम आपकी किडनियां बह दे लहू को चुटकियों में साफ हमने किया। हमें एक ही काफी है ना, कुदरत ने हमको एक बदन में दो दो क्यों है दिया।
That was a brilliant song. Over to you, sir.
Can you see my slides, ma'am?
Yeah. Yes, please.
So is English okay for everybody?
Yeah. English is fine. We conduct our meetings in English only.
Perfect. So as I indicated earlier, predominantly my work is in the kidney field of kidney disease, and being a nephrologist and also conducting a few transplants, we always face this challenge of people going on the list for waiting for a kidney transplant, getting a kidney. And fortunately, at least in the nephrology space, God has given most of us 2 kidneys. So even while we are living, if we are fit and if one of our family members needs a kidney, then we can actually potentially become a living donor. So it is not necessary that we pledge our organs only after we die. Obviously, that is going to save 8 to 10 lives. But even in our lifetime, if our family member needs 1 kidney, we should be happy to go ahead and get evaluated and potentially should be able to donate one of our kidneys if required. So I'll just share a few thoughts with all of you in terms of what I feel as which is important for all of us to understand about how the whole swab transplant has happened. Sorry, I'll just try and share my slides again. Rotarian Goel Saab, can you share my slides on my behalf?
Okay, we will do that. No, I think you have started, but it is some different one.
Ritika,
President Ritika, Rotarian Ritika, if you please help.
yeah, she's doing it. She's doing it.
Yeah.
The presentation is
happen with
open.
the
Let me
Apples
just share
and
my screen.
Yeah. Yeah. Just go to slideshow and
Yeah, I'm clicking on it. Yeah, it's there.
perfect.
All right.
Yeah. So essentially, today's talk is going to be sharing a little bit of experience of what we have done in the area of swab transplant. Now, a few of you may not be aware as to what swab transplant is. So I will make you understand how easily it can be done, but there are logistic challenges, and that's where we need support of organizations like your Rotary Club, which can spread the message of trying to get swab transplant in the radar for patients who are waiting for a kidney transplant. So for a swab transplant, we want every patient, obviously every kidney doctor who is treating the patient, and the hospital where the transplant is going to be done, all need to be equally involved and have to be a stakeholder which is interested in trying to get this transplant done. Next slide. And that's the motto on which we started our own swab transplant registry way back in 2011. So it's been 14 years now, 14 years of a lot of effort to try and motivate people to understand what the swab transplant entitles. As the topic clearly describes, the Apex Swab Transplant Registry or any swab registry essentially is looking for getting a kidney from every potential donor in the family. The problem at transplantation sometimes is that the donor is willing and medically fit, but the blood group of the donor is not matching with the patient. Now, this is a problem which cannot be solved because God has given each one of us a particular blood group with which we are born. So we can't change the blood group of a potential donor. And the swab transplant actually takes all these mismatched donors and recipients and puts that into a software which will throw up suitable pairs where kidney donors and recipients are matched according to blood group. And then this pair is then subjected to a straightforward routine kidney transplant like all other patients. So I will make you understand in the next few slides. Next slide, please. So as of now, since 2011, we've had almost 800 patients who registered with our registry. And over the years, we've been able to do 100 plus transplants. Now, this number looks obviously reasonably good, but if I show you the number of people waiting for a kidney, this number looks really very, very small. So what we are trying to say is that swab transplant is not going to help completely eliminate the need of organ donors. We will still require more and more donors. We will require more and more people to donate their organs after death. But if there is a potential swab donor available, if they are aware of the swab transplant, then probably they'll come forward and we'll be able to add maybe 10 to 15% of transplants to be done more in our country. As of now, in the year 2023, India-wide, we did about 14,000 transplants, where you might wonder, how is this number important and what should I get a message from this number? You have to understand that there are probably 3 to 4 lakh people who require a kidney every year, because these are the number of patients who are entering into dialysis centers across India. Although we have established these dialysis centers and we are one of the largest dialysis service providers in India, there is still only 30% of patients in India reach a dialysis center in their lifetime. When they have kidney failure, only 3 out of 10 will eventually get regular dialysis to survive. So dialysis itself is not very easy. It's quite costly unless and until you are a part of some government center where dialysis is provided free of cost. Dialysis is very expensive and difficult to maintain. On the other hand, if you do a kidney transplant, there is a potential that you will spend a little bit of money upfront when the transplant is done, but down the line, your life becomes normal and you can probably earn all the money that you have spent on transplant and support your family. Next slide, please. This was our first domino transplant that we did in Asia. This is the first domino transplant done in Asia way back in 2013. This is a slightly longer swap transplant experience that we have put 5 patients and 5 donors in one pair, in one diagram together. All these 5 transplants were done on the same day across 3 different hospitals in Mumbai. And you can see from the blood groups that the donor blood group is matched with the recipient blood group by arranging them in a crisscross fashion. So that's how a B donor will give to a B patient, A donor will give to an A patient, and in exchange, a O patient will get a O kidney from a O donor. This is the first time it was ever done in Asia way back in 2013. Similarly, next slide, we also did a 6-way swap in 2014. And at that time, even the Indian transplant law did not include a swap as a legal option. So we had to convince the government that there is nothing illegal about this. This has been done worldwide. There are at least 40 countries where they have a state-wise or a nationwide registry for swap to try and promote more and more compatible donors and recipients. And after a heroic effort of 19 months, we were able to convince the Maharashtra government that this is something that we have to adopt. And eventually we were able to successfully do 6 transplants and saving 6 lives. Next slide. This fortunately did catch a lot of media attention, and all over the press, this was covered very widely so that people become aware of the swap and the domino experience and the outcomes that these patients have with a normal life following the transplant. Next slide, please. So this is a publication in the British Medical Journal about our first domino kidney swap, which we had done in 2013. And subsequently, the Indian press also propagated the whole message of trying to promote more and more legal kidney transplantation by the mechanism of swap or domino in our country. Next slide. So over the years, as I said, we established this registry in 2011. We saw a slight increase in the overall number of transplants for the first 3-4 years. But subsequently, we saw that the swap transplants are not taking place that frequently. And what are the reasons for that? And where does Rotary come into play for this kind of a discussion? Next slide. So these, according to me, are the challenges that we are currently facing with the swap transplant program in India. There is a lack of a nationwide registry, and through the Prime Minister's office, we are trying to get some sort of a consortium to try and convince the central ministry to adopt a nationwide swap transplant program. Hopefully, it will happen in the next few years. I had the privilege and the opportunity to meet the Prime Minister about 3 years back, and I discussed this entire issue of lack of awareness about swap transplant. I am very, very hopeful that in the next few months, we will probably get some sort of momentum to try and get this registry across India to all patients who need the option of a swap transplant. Currently, large transplant programs like our hospital and many, many other hospitals still don't are not convinced because the swap option does require some paperwork. It requires you to have significant motivation to get these pairs together, get the logistic challenges addressed, and eventually put them up in a swap or a domino arrangement. Unfortunately, because of the lack of the registry, smaller centers don't have access to many patients, and that's why these exchange programs are not very feasible. You must have all heard about the various kidney rackets in India over the years, and every now and then we keep getting some bad publicity because maybe 1 out of 100 doctors don't do the things ethically, and that's where all our patients suffer, where they don't get good legal options for getting a transplant. Even the cadaver transplant programs and the brain death certification and the organ donation awareness has been hit by all these negative campaigns. So as an organization, my request to Rotary would be to take this up as something which is a motto. And I know that Rotary has done similar programs in other fields of medical practice, be it thalassemia, be it blood donation, be it various other causes. Even the polio campaign, which was driven largely by the Rotary International, is something where I think India needs a push from a big organization like Rotary, where it can adopt this whole program and propagate it through all its channels and all its clubs to make people aware that the swap option will help us reduce the burden of people waiting for organs across our country. The swap option can be looked at for kidneys. It can also be looked at in liver transplants. Some of you might be aware that liver transplants also can be done from living donors. A part of your liver when you are alive can be donated to your near and dear one if he is facing liver failure. Similarly, as kidneys, I already mentioned that one kidney is given to us actually in spare. We don't need 2 kidneys to live a normal life. So my request through this forum and through your organization is to try and propagate the whole concept of swap transplant and get people oriented about this option so that we can help more and more people come out of kidney failure and have a normal life after transplantation. Next slide. So the process has to be streamlined and simplified, and there are a lot of efforts along with IIT team that we are trying to build a very comprehensive software which is linked to Aadhaar, etc., etc. And the bottom line is to make this process so simple that every patient potentially who can get a swap transplant should be offered this option across India. Next slide. According to us, the swap transplant is a very low-hanging fruit. जब हम कोई भी पेड़ देखते हैं और हम देखते हैं कि फल एकदम नीचे हैं, अपने हाथ के पास है, तो हम उसको छलांग लगा के वो फ्रूट तोड़ देते हैं. हम जब छोटे थे तब हमेशा ये करते थे. According to us, the swaps are a very low-hanging fruit. You really don't need to put too much effort. You just have to jump a little bit. You just have to take that extra bit of effort, and you can offer the swap option to all the patients who need it. Next slide. So this is my final slide, and I'm open to questions and comments from the entire audience. We all need to get collectively together to try and create more awareness about legal transplant, especially swap transplant, on all your forums, and promote the whole message of organ donation across our families, across all the groups, so that we can help people come out from these deadly diseases which are taking lives, and probably try and help them by a legal option by the way of swap transplant. I thank you for your kind attention, and I'm open to questions and comments.
Over to you, Rotarian President Charter and Founder President Rotarian Galgo.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kothari, for giving your views and in accepting our invite on a very, very short notice. I still remember that I think we met about 10 days back, and you immediately said, yes, I would like to come. That is a very positive thing, which shows your commitment. Now, as you have mentioned about that government regulations, etc., I have a NOTO circular that is dated 16th April 2025. In which the subject is implementation of swap donor transplantation and documents required thereof, where they have mentioned very clearly that swap is legalized and approved. Secondly, I would like to say that because our club is a Rotary Club of Organ Donation International, is a cause-based club, and we have members. One of our member has not only swab, but it's a chain transplant, which you said domino, which was not only in one city or in it three or four hospitals. It was done in USA. He was operated. His wife was a donor, and she donated in Stanford Medical Hospital there. And from there, the kidney flew to the San Francisco. Then from San Francisco to New York, and New York to Los Angeles. On the 8th time, the kidney came back to him. So my question to you is, when other countries are doing chain, and as you said, it's like a fruit which is hanging with this thing, but why the government or why the medical fraternity is not taking interest? Because our role comes only when the medical fraternity comes forward and the government comes forward. So my question to you is, what is the reason behind this when other countries can do the chain swaps, not only the swap or dominoes, which you have done only 2 in Mumbai? So I would like to know from you.
Very, very pertinent questions, and thank you for that question. As we all, most of you all, I think will agree that India is a country of a lot of variance. We have extremes of people motivated, and at the same time people who want to do the things wrongly. So the Indian law per se has been very, very strict. The Human Organs Transplantation Act, as you must be aware, was laid down in 1994. And it's a very, very clearly defined document, clearly stating that transplantation can only be done. Obviously, once you die, you can pledge your organs and all your organs can be used. But in the living donor scenario, only your near relatives can be a donor. Now, the problem with near relatives is that if you are able to somehow bypass the various channels of verification and somebody who's unrelated comes up as a donor, that's something which obviously is not permitted by the law. But there are people who break the law in our country. We all know that. So because of that reason, swap was not legally considered as an option till 2014. As you rightly said, in April 2025, there was a clear government regulation and a circular which encourages all people to go ahead with the swaps. But what is happening in our country is that now people don't want to go too much for the swaps because it takes a lot of effort for some program which is doing it for the first time. Since there is no nationwide registry, the availability of swap donors is more or less limited to the patients whom you know in a particular dialysis center or a particular hospital. So you would probably try and encourage a swap between your patients if you have, incompatible pairs. Unless and until we have a robust registry, which becomes a national registry endorsed by the government, and the government has had the Indian Society of Organ Transplant form a registry, but somehow the acceptance of that registry is not coming up because there are a few lacunae in that registry as we speak. So bottom line, as you said, yes, the push can come only after we get some sort of a mandate from the government, and the mandate is already out there. But it is now up to us to try and get all the patients who are waiting for a transplant to be sensitized about this option. Unfortunately or fortunately, nephrologists across our country are not uniform in terms of promoting transplant. 95% of patients, as I told you, are all only on dialysis in our country. Only 5% or less actually get a chance for getting a kidney transplant. So there is more that needs to be done to try and push all the legal options of transplant. Coming to your question on the United States and how the swap pairs are done in other countries. See, other countries, there is a whole ethical platform. Even donors can altruistically donate. If you today pledge your organ or you want to give your kidney to a stranger, that is allowed through the government system in a very legal format. Unfortunately, our Indian law doesn't permit us to do that. There has been one instance in New York where a transplant was planned or swap was planned between two hospitals, and one transplant happened in the morning time In the afternoon time, the second pair's donor backed out. So they had to call in the police. They had to get the donor back into the hospital and somehow perform the transplant. Now, in India, where you are going to try and do transplants across hospitals and across cities, there will be a lot of logistic challenges, what I anticipate. But you are right that at some point in time, we are going to look at swaps which are done serially from one city to the other. It can be done over a month. And in the United States, there was the longest chain of 70 transplants, 70 transplants done over a period of 2 months across 30 states in the United States. So there is a long way that we have to cover to reach there. But I think the start will be to try and create more awareness about swap transplant as a legal option. I can tell you from my experience that patients are not even aware of what is the meaning of swap transplant. The moment I tell a family member that, okay, it's okay that you are A blood group, your patient is B, you can still be a donor, you can donate your kidney to somebody else, and in exchange, your husband or your brother will get a kidney. But people are not even aware. So probably the role of Rotary and organizations like Rotary is to try and create awareness, saying that this is a legal option which more and more people should consider. So I would end here, but thank you for your question, and thank you for bringing this whole forum up
Thank
to
you,
date
Doctor.
about what is happening in the world and where we are still lacking as a country.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Kothari. Now I am opening the thing. Whosoever wants to ask a question, yes, I can see Rotarian Advocate Ramesh Sharma's hand. Yes, please, go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Kothari, just you have said that a living person may also donate a liver in his lifetime. My question is, what shall be the effect of donation of liver during a lifetime on the health of the donor?
Thank you for your question, sir. So living-related liver donation has now been in practice for the last 25 years. Now, I'm sure you're aware that we studied in our school that liver is a vital organ. Obviously, it's required for a normal functioning human being, but the liver has tremendous ability to regenerate. It means that even if you remove 80% of your liver, or for some reason, even if your 80% of your liver is damaged, your liver will still recover. With the balance 20%, you can survive. And over a period of 3 to 6 months, your liver function can come back to 100%. So what we are seeing now is that even if your 30 to 40% of your liver is removed and is given to your near and dear one, your liver is going to regenerate and form almost 100% of the liver what you are born with. So essentially, that's the gift that God has given us. As to why liver regenerates and other organs don't regenerate, we don't know the answer to that. But there is something unique about the liver where potentially you can be a living donor and donate a part of your liver in your lifetime. Kidney, it's very straightforward because we have two kidneys. Most of us have two kidneys. It has been seen that about 0.01% of the population is born with one kidney. And there have been some prominent personalities in the world who are born with one kidney and who've lived up to 90 years. I'm sure all of you know Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who lived with a single kidney till 90 years of age. So essentially, God has given us one kidney, which is actually in spare. We really don't need two kidneys to function. Not that you don't take care of your kidney, and after donation, there are some do's and don'ts. So we encourage all our donors to be careful, do a regular health checkup, remain healthy so that they can have a normal lifespan with one kidney. But liver and kidney, these are the two organs which essentially you can easily donate during your lifetime to your family member if needed.
Thank you, Doctor, and thank you, Advocate Ramesh Sharma. Rotarian Professor Dr. Lakshmi Goyal.
Good evening. Thank you. I really enjoyed the process because this is the first time I heard of a swap or a domino transplant as well. And I was really curious about the role of IT in enabling this. And you said that you've been working with the IITs to come up with a software solution. And I think that would really speed up the process. And, if there was one central software for this. But digitization, it's part of a bigger culture. And I know in the US, big hospital systems are moving to things like Epic as their electronic medical health record. So everything is centralized in one place. It doesn't matter which hospital or which doctor you go to, they're all referring to one database for stuff. How far are the hospital systems in India from adopting a digital culture so that it becomes part of just processes to be able to go to a centralized database for something like this?
Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi, for your question. Very intriguing question. And just to tell you that, yes, digitization probably has a big role to play in overall medical practice and how we practice as clinicians. I would be wrong on my part if I would tell you that I know the exact figures, but I know for sure that there are up to 5 private hospitals which have completely gone electronic in Mumbai. And there are more and more hospital chains like Max and Apollo and Reliance, etc., which are all moving to digitization. On the government side also, I am very, very happy to share that most of our dialysis data of all the dialysis centers that we run in partnership with the government, every single clinical parameter along with all the demographic data is all collected digitally by the Pradhan Mantri National Dialysis Program portal. So everything is there in the public domain for the portal to see how many people are getting dialysis and what are the vital parameters. So yes, we are moving in that direction. But to tell you that transplant is essentially going to go through this phase and become completely digital, and the swap transplant will happen once data is shared between hospitals, we are still a far way ahead. I think the far way away. What we need to start off with is the program that we are building with IIT. Once it's complete, our whole agenda is to try and give it to the government of India. Maybe we'll start it with one state, maybe the government of Maharashtra. Let the government of Maharashtra put their entire software as if it's the national or the state registry for the swap. We want more and more people to be registered, and a few transplants, once they happen, once you have these success stories, that's when the whole community gets motivated to take it up to the next level. But yes, the way to move forward fast is obviously going digital, and your point is very valid. Other countries are way, way ahead of us. Even in the organ donation rates, we are probably 145th out of 190 countries. So we are dismally poor in terms of our overall organ donation rates. Just to be proud of saying that we are the 3rd biggest country in the world to do transplants. We do about 15,000 transplants. Only the United States and China are above us. But we also have to know that our population is obviously much, much bigger than most of these other countries which are doing transplants. So organ donation rates also need to improve. More digital technology adoption will help us to get there faster. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Professor Goel, and thank you, Dr. Kothari. Yes, whoever wants to ask the question, please unmute yourself. Yes, Professor Rotarian Dr. Sudhir Saran.
Thank you, Dr. Jatin, for a very enlightening presentation. And the swap raises hopes among the organ which are waiting to have a transplant. Which are the 3 most important hurdles in swap becoming successful in our country?
Great question, sir. So according to me, the 3 biggest challenges are, number 1, lack of a national registry. I think once we have a nationwide registry, which is promoted by the central government, we will be able to improve the number of transplants. Number 2 is overall awareness of organ donation happening in your lifetime, especially, and even after you die. There are so many accident cases across India, and we know that all these organs are buried and burnt, which can probably wipe off the entire waiting list in 1 year. We had some figures from Mumbai that only if you look at vehicular accidents every year in Mumbai, even if half of them potentially donate their organs, our waiting list will come down to less than 3 months, like countries like Spain and Denmark. So overall awareness, and probably that's the reason why when in my talk I was telling you about all the negative publicity that is got because of bad kidney rackets and illegal transplantation activities. Everybody perceives that the transplantation is not only beneficial to the patient, but it is more beneficial to the doctor. And this is all to, drive a financial benefit. So that's, I think, the second problem which we face in our country, where legal options of transplant are considered, but not considered by all. And the third biggest problem that I see as a community is that lack of adoption of the swap program by the nephrologists ourselves. We are 3,500 kidney doctors in India, looking after 140 crores. And CKD, the chronic kidney disease incidence is up to 10%. So we have crores and crores of people who are having kidney disease. And somehow, if we don't look at all options to try and get them out of this disease, we are not going to succeed. Prevention is too far for us. Even if we are able to manage and offer proper treatment for all our patients, that itself is good enough. So I think the nephrologist is the third and the most important hurdle which we are currently facing. And with the Indian Society of Organ Transplantation and various forums like yours, our message is loud and clear to the general public, and in turn sensitizing the nephrologist. If you have heard about a swap, and when you go and see your nephrologist, we are hoping that you will tell the nephrologist that why am I not considered for a swap. So we've tried all possible ways, but I think we have to attack the problem from all sides to try and address this big dearth of organs availability in our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, next question from Rotarian Deepan Shah.
Hello, all fellow Rotarians. Dr. Jatin Kothari, it is very wonderful insight how the in India kidney swap system works. What I see, basically in India, people mainly gain from this program, people who are rich, people who are living in the bigger cities. The biggest challenge, the interior rural area of India, they don't have any flu. Even there is, they notice such kind of even hospitals. When I visit India, different parts of Gujarat. But anyway, it is first of all, again, thanks to our President, Ritika Ji, our Secretary Ruby Agrawal, and our wonderful President, Visionary President, Mr. Goel. I do appreciate bringing nice subject on this worldwide platform. And I'm agree with Dr. Kothari also. Also, kidney swap, also known as the paired kidney exchange program. It is very benefit paired kidney program has, especially what I see, it increased the access to living donor transplant, better outcome, faster transplant process. And wait in America, waiting for swap or kidney paired exchange done mainly in under 90 days of 80 or 85% cases. So that is a good, outcome here. And hopefully same program in India is benefited to everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, Rotarian PHF, Dr. Rohan Monis, please.
Thank you, Kothari ji. That was a beautiful talk about swap, because we come from Mangalore, and I don't think they've done any swaps in Mangalore as of yet. I mean, we've got about 9 medical colleges, about, we've got all transplant centers and stuff like that. My question was, so presently the registries work state-wise, right? And if there is an interstate swap, will it work?
So there is nobody to stop the swap experience. But unfortunately, what happens is that in interstate, currently the law requires that respective donor and recipient will have to be interviewed in that respective state. They will have to go and get evaluated by the program where they're going to undergo the transplant. So that makes it logistically challenging. But despite that, we have done an interstate swap between Rajasthan and Maharashtra successfully. It took a lot of time. We were fortunate that both the patients survived, because the time taken to get the permission was 19 months. So you can imagine that these kidney patients who are on dialysis, they may actually not even survive till you eventually reach there. But there is no law in the country which states that you cannot do interstate swaps. As long as the two pairs are related, means on one side, if you have husband, wife, or brother, sister, and vice versa, on the other side also they are related. If they are first degree relatives, that is easy. If they are distant relatives, say on one side you have an uncle and a nephew, and the uncle wants to donate, In a direct transplant, he is allowed to donate, but in a swap, it is not allowed. So there are some, bureaucratic challenges that we face with swaps. So interstate swaps, there is nobody to stop us. We will obviously look at that, and the problem can be solved once you have a nationwide registry. Just like, once you have a central government mandate, all the states will have to adopt it. I know that health is a state subject, but there would be no resistance for the states to adopt the central law once it gets passed. So all our efforts, along with the team at IIT, is to try and promote and get this whole registry at a national level. But thank you for your question. I think as far as I remember, Mangalore, probably in a couple of hospitals in the public sector, they have done a couple of swaps, but just here and there. It is basically patients who were taking dialysis next to each other, their families met, and that's how the swap was arranged, but not to a systematic program.
Actually, what happened is the government hospital, there's just one government hospital exists, which is about 175 years old, and they don't have a transplant program yet, but they have started a brain dead donation program they've started. So just to add to that question, just a minute, Lal Gurji. Now, since you've done so much of R&D on the swap thing and all, is there any work that we're doing on xenotransplantation right now? Are you working with teams on that ground?
No. Xenotransplant in India, obviously, I think we had done a few experiments back in the 70s when I was a student in KEM, where dog livers were taken and there were some experiments. But the entire effort of xenotransplant is currently limited to a few centers in the United States, which is a part of a research protocol which has been driven by one of the hospitals from the Harvard group. And we are very excited because there has been a significant amount of press after the first two successful xenotransplant cases where one of the recipients actually survived for 4 months. So there is a lot of promise there. Hopefully in my lifetime, I will see xenotransplant reduce the burden of requirements of organs, but it's anybody's guess as to when we will actually see that coming to India.
Okay, thank you very much. Although xenotransplant, the problem in India is the religion, because the Muslims will not take from the pig, and Indians will also not, the Hindus will also not like to take from the animal. So that is a very big challenge. Let's hope for the best. Now, anyone else wants to ask the question, please raise your hands.
Lakshmi has raised the hand again.
Again, okay. No, I just want to see if anybody else left, because I do not want to leave anyone. Okay, Professor Lakshmi, please go ahead.
Thank you. I'm just curious, also kind of regarding the challenges of this process. And I did a quick Google search and I came across this article from Indian Express from 2015, where there was a swap at Hiranandani and I think Hinduja. And the couple that the swap happened with, one was a Muslim couple and one was a Hindu couple. And I'm wondering if you're seeing any challenges there in terms of socioeconomic class or religion as being a barrier to the swaps.
So those transplants were done through our registry, and I'm privy to that information. But no, unfortunately, these are all barriers. And as Rotarian Goel Sahab mentioned, these are things that we will have to overcome as we move forward. The way science is progressing, I mean, if we are going to be stuck with all these religions, and by the way, no religion is banning anybody to donate their organs during their lifetime. I've read a little bit of Quran. Obviously, I'm a Hindu and a Jain, so I know a little bit about religion here and there, and not a single religion that I have come across. And I've met a lot of religious leaders from all sects of society. I don't think any religion will ban people from donating their organs, even during their lifetime or especially after the death. So I think all these religious beliefs and all we will have to overcome. And the only way that we potentially try and address this is get some sort of positive media backup. And, these media articles does have an impact. Obviously, it's not too long lasting. I mean, so you read an article about 2015, but subsequently, how many Hindu-Muslim swaps we have done? Probably done a couple of more Hindu-Muslim swaps, and it is a huge challenge in our country. So to make a change, you will have to start somewhere, and I think the positive change can happen with more awareness that religion really doesn't matter. it's very well shown in some of our Hindi films, that, our blood and our red blood cells are not different, whatever religion we belong to. So I think, but your point is very valid, that these are all the barriers that we face, and we have to come up with ways to address and remove all these barriers from our society. But thank you for your question.
Thank you very much. But Dr. Kothari, I would like to say that, yes, no religion is against organ donation, but there are some religious leaders, and especially Hindus, the top, one of the topmost religious leader who is very famous nowadays, I will not name. There is a 8-minute video against organ donation, which he has spoken. Now, if these types of persons are being praised, and he's a cult nowadays. If you can search on Google, you will find his 8 minutes video.
I'm aware, sir. At the same time, I can tell you that there are at least another 50 Hindu leaders who are talking.
But he's right now the most happening religious leader. So that is the biggest problem which we face whenever we speak. People ask the same questions. Otherwise, as far as Jains are concerned, I think they are leading in the donations as well as others also. But let's hope that people will understand that this is something which no religion is banning. So thank you very much. And I think it's from my side, it's all over. So over to you, the Inspire Secretary, Rotarian Ruby Agrawal.
Thank you. Anybody left for the questions? Otherwise, we'll go with
I think the questions are...
I request... thank you, Dr. Jatin Kothari, for a wonderful, enlightening session. I request Rotarian PHF Dr. Rohan S. Monis to please give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Inspire Secretary Rotarian Ruby Agarwal. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Kothari for coming on our platform and trying to break barriers. Encouraging and talking to us about swap kidney donations. He, being a nephrologist himself, has told us very openly and vividly, saying that, the nephrologists are not open to this concept. And being specialists, but on this platform, I'm sure it's going to reach a lot of people. We can question people, ask them why not. And what a better way to start on this platform, Rotary Club of Organ Donation International. Thank you, Dr. Jatin. Thank you. I wish and pray that you have more power, more reach, more energy, more health, and best of luck. And thank you all the Rotarians for coming on this beautiful platform on this beautiful Sunday. Have a good day.
Thank you all. I would especially want to thank Rotarian Goel and his entire team for inviting me here. And even if we are able to motivate one person each, I think our job is done. And thank you for your kind invite, and look forward to interact with you more in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I would now